You know? This girl over here.
The chair won't stop squeaking.
Is that a fat joke?
No, the chair's broken.
Just wanted to say super quick, I'm really sorry for the very poor quality of this video, but I cannot change it, and I'm not redoing it, so enjoy.
Well, guys, you will be happy to know that I am back from hell.
Are you doing a YouTube?
So, guys, I have been gone for much longer than I friggin' planned. I was actually an inpatient for... What's happening? What joke am I not in on right now? What's happening? So I was on inpatient for a month, and then I was on residential for a month, which is where you go when you're more medically stable. I was on weight restoration for almost the whole time I was there. They made me gain pounds, which I'm trying to be happy about. Anyways, I just thought that it would be fun to share some of the rules that they had there, like the table rules and all of that stuff. There are so many rules you don't even know. I thought that it would just be beneficial if you are going to a treatment center, maybe like you can be more prepared for it. I thought that was beneficial for me. I watched a video on what it was like before I went, and so this isn't necessarily exactly what it was like, but like rules, so you have an idea of what you're walking into, kind of. So let's start with the table rules. First off, you have to have your hands on the table at all times. They cannot be underneath. You have to have both of your legs down on the ground, and if you have them crossed, you'll get in trouble. Another rule is that you cannot talk about food whatsoever. Like, you can't say, I like this fruit, or
this meal right now is yummy.
You can't say stuff like that. You have to be like completely avoidant of that topic, or they will redirect you, and that's something that they use a lot there, that term. They say redirect whenever you bring up food or anything that could possibly be triggering there. You have to scrape your plate and you have to eat all of your crumbs, or they'll make you drink a replacement drink for that, which is called Boost, and they have this little area in the kitchen called Boost Bar. And that is just a drink that they make when you have not eaten some of your food, and they measure it out calorically. I don't know how it works. Yeah, if you like leave a couple bites, they make you drink a Boost drink for it. And you have to eat within 30 minutes. Some techs will be like really nice about it, and they'll be like, you can finish or whatever.
Call my name when you're ready to talk about the plan.
Okay. I will.
Okay,
I will, brother. You can't grab your own utensils, and you can grab your own condiments, and you're not allowed to have knives. And you have to shake out your napkins, and you have to lift up your plates and your bowls to make sure that you didn't hide any food in there. And they also do these things called pocket checks when you leave the dining hall, which is where you have to shake out your pockets and snap your waistband and your bra band and shake out your sleeves. They want to be really thorough and make sure that you're not hiding any food, which I actually did once because I'm a slick bitch, and I got in trouble for that. Sometimes I'm stupid, okay? We all know this. It's not a surprise. Back to the Boost thing. If you refuse your Boost, then you get phase contemplation, which is where you sit and stare at a wall for 4 hours in silence. You're in isolation, you can't talk to anyone. Even at meals, you can't talk to anyone, which caused me to have several panic attacks. And I was on phase contemplation, which happened like 3 times in a week because one of the techs there hate me. During meal times, like, the only thing that helps me is to be able to talk to people. So being in isolation didn't really fix that issue. It's supposed to be like beneficial, but I don't know. Negative reinforcement is not something I agree with, but that's just me. And you have to do assignments while you're in phase contemplation too. It's basically just to get you to recognize the consequences of your actions towards yourself. And if you get phase contemplation 3 times in a week, then you get behavioral, which is 24 hours of isolation. And you can get phase contemplation for other things. For instance, you have to like open your mouth and lift up your tongue when you take your meds to show them that you took them. If you didn't take your meds, you can get phase contemplation. Like, there's several things that make you get that. That's the lowest form of punishment. After behavioral, there's bed rest, and that's where you have to be in your room for a really long time, and you can't journal, you can't read a book, like, you have to just sit and contemplate things. So they do like this phase program, which when you get there, you start on phase 1, and then after 2 weeks, you can apply for phase 2, which gives you different privileges. When you're on phase 2, if you drink Boost 8 times, then that means that you get phase dropped for 48 hours. So for 48 hours, you go back to phase 1 and you lose all of your privileges. Some other table rules are that you can't walk into the kitchen area by yourself. If you want to grab like a napkin or a cup or something, you have to have a tech go with you. Fun fact, there was a care tech there named Tate, and it was funny because I had the people there call me Tate, and so it got really confusing really quickly. So this is one that they don't enforce that much, but no food games, which means that you can't like pick at your food and play with it and stuff. And there's one tech there, the one that hates me, that is like very adamant about enforcing this rule. She will literally like come up behind you out of nowhere and be like, stop doing that. But all of the other techs don't really pay that much attention to it. And then the last one that I can think of, I'm sure there's many more because there's like 1,000, is that when you get there, you are on plated food and you stay that way for a long time, which means they put the food that you're supposed to eat on your tray. You have to eat what's there, and they give you plated water for a little while, which means that you have a blue cup instead of a clear cup like the people that have been there longer, and you have to drink all of that water and you can't get any more water. So the reason that they do this is because some people restrict water, which I did, and so they want to make sure that you're drinking water and not trying to restrict it, and they don't want you to water load. That's why you can't get more water, because a lot of people will drink tons and tons of water too. And another reason they do it is because they want to track how much you're drinking and how much you're peeing out, so you don't get this thing called refeeding syndrome, which is a whole other thing, but it's like something that I got when your body just assumes that it's gonna like starve itself again, and so you like stay sick and keep on having symptoms even though you're in the process of healing your body. It's really weird. So your body like holds onto fluids, and that's how they know that you have it, is because if you're not peeing out as much water as you're intaking, then that's a symptom. And that goes into the next category. So this category is just random rules besides table rules. One is that you have to pee into a hat, which is basically just like this plastic bowl that they put on the toilet, and it has these little lines that measure how much you're peeing for your ins and outs, so they can track your pee. They also like look at your poo and describe what it looks like on a piece of paper. And honestly, TMI doesn't exist in my world anymore, because I literally was so embarrassed by that kind of stuff, and now I'm an open book. So you have to have a staff member with you at all times. You are not allowed to hug people. That one was really annoying because when people were having breakdowns, which happened like every single day there, we wanted to comfort each other and they would be like, no hugging. But I always did it. Another one is no whispering. They get really mad about that because people do it so much, but they don't want you to be talking about things that you're not allowed to be talking about, like food and triggering things. And they also don't want gossip because they don't want people to be talking about other people and there to be trauma. You are not allowed to close the bathroom door, and you can't flush your own toilet. After you pee, they have to come in, look at your pee, flush the toilet, look in the sink, and then you're allowed to wash your hands. And if you flush the toilet, you get 3 strikes before you get to phase 1 completion. 30 minutes after you eat, which they call the half, then you're allowed to go to the bathroom. But if you have to go to the bathroom within that 30 minutes, then they call it an emergency bathroom, and that's when you have to count while you're on the toilet. So you have to go like 1, 2, 3, 4 while you're peeing, so they can make sure that you're not barfing. Super fun stuff, right? You have 5 minutes to get ready for bed. Another one is that you have 4 20-minute phone calls when you're an inpatient, and you can email people 4 times a week for 20 minutes each. And then when you move to residential, then that's unlimited. Another one is when you get mail, you have to open it in front of them so they can make sure that there's no contraband in there. During groups, you're not allowed to have pillows on your lap because people use them to cover up, which I definitely did a lot. And you have to have one leg down so you're not covering up with your legs. And you are required to go to group. It's mandatory. And you're also not allowed to shake your legs. You are not allowed to go outside for the first 5 days, and they call this safety checks. They just want to make sure that you're not going to like AWOL and run out of the place. And for the first 5 days, you're not allowed to have any phone calls or emails. You're not allowed to bring your blankets on the unit unless it's weekends, and you can't wear your pajamas throughout the day unless it's weekends either. And if it's the weekend and you do have your blanket on the unit, you aren't allowed to use it until 30 minutes after you eat. You are also not allowed to watch PG-13 movies because there's adolescents on the inpatient unit, and then when they leave, they go to adolescent RTC, which is residential, and then we go to adult residential. When you're on adult residential, you're not allowed to talk to the adolescents or have any interactions with them, and I got in so much trouble for that, but it didn't really make sense to me because I'm 19. I was talking to 17-year-olds and I got in trouble for that, but I was totally allowed to go talk to the 40 and 50-year-olds there. You can't wear crop tops, you can't have drawstrings, you can't have anything with metal, anything sharp, which means no jewelry, except I gotta keep my nose ring in, which a lot of people didn't, so when you go on outings or outside at all, you have to do these things called contraband checks where they have to check your shoes and like underneath your hat, and the same like thing with pocket checks where you shake out your sleeves and everything just to make sure that you didn't pick up anything while you were there. You aren't allowed to use curling irons or your tweezers until phase 2, and you do get a razor, but it's an electric razor and you have to use it in front of them, so nobody really uses it because like they don't really want to shave their armpits in front of the whole unit. You have to wear socks to get weighed. You're only allowed to have 5 hair ties at a time. Vitals are required 3 times a day, and you have to have your bedroom door open at all times while you're sleeping in there, and you can't go in your room throughout the day. You can only go in there in the morning when you're getting ready and at night. You can't leave anything out on the unit or else it gets put in the 24-hour bin and you're not allowed to use it until the next day. And if you're late getting ready in the morning by even like a minute, then they take away your makeup and everything for 48 hours, and that sucks. Oh my gosh, I hated that. And then the last thing is they do checks every 15 minutes where they have to check on everybody in the unit, and they do that when you're showering, when you're sleeping. They literally come in your room every 15 minutes throughout the entire night, shine a flashlight in your face, and watch for 2 breaths to make sure you are alive. It's a really fun place, let me tell you. It's a good place though. Like, it's really helpful. It was really beneficial to me. I'm not trying to like throw shade onto this place at all, because it was honestly like really good for me, and I really recommend treatment. If you have any issues, you should go to treatment. That's all I have to say. They have like different levels of care. You don't have to go to inpatient or RTC. You can do PHP, which is partial hospitalization, which is what I'm in right now. And you go 7 days a week starting out, and you go for part of the day and then come home. And then you can go to 5 days a week, and then you can move down to IOP, which is like just a few days a week. There's so many different levels. A lot of people think that if they go to treatment, they have to go like into treatment, but you can do partial treatment. Just an option if you're struggling. Really recommend it. And then to finish off, I have a couple really random rules that they only created because people did insane things there. One being, you are not allowed to change your tampon at the nurse's station, because apparently some chick right at the station where the nurses are and in front of the whole unit decided it was a great idea to change her tampon. So that is now an official rule. And then another one is you are not allowed to sleep without clothes, because apparently some chick slept naked and then they went to go do checks on her with a flashlight and she was naked. Speaking of which, the techs have seen me naked so many times because they checked on me when I was in the shower for letting me like cover myself up. So anyways, that's all I have to say. Sorry it's kind of noisy. I'm in a loud house and things are really creaky, but I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you, and if not, that you just gained some good information. I'm really happy to be back. I missed YouTube so much, and like I'm so excited to get my channel going again, and I'm gonna make a couple more videos like this that are just like educational, because I think it's interesting and maybe helpful to people. So that's the sitch. Now I'm gonna boogie on out of here. I'm so sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I love you guys, like genuinely. Me loves you guys so much, even though I don't know who you are. Like, I just love you because you care enough to watch my videos, and I really appreciate it, and it makes me happy, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see, if you have any other ideas, either similar to this or completely different. Like, I'm super open to suggestions, and I would love to get some, so just let me know in the comments, or like, if you have my Insta or anything, just DM me. I will see you guys in the next video, and have a fabulous night. Mwah. That is all. See ya.